What's up, everybody, man? It's your boys, Cam and T, back at it again with another episode of the Cam and T podcast, man. If you like this type of content, go ahead and like this video if it's on YouTube also as well. Go ahead and listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, whatever you listen to, Google. We all on there. I am your co-host, Tony T. Time West, and we have my brother from another mother, Cam. Happy podcast day for the first time in like a month, bro. And that's my fault. I'll explain shortly, but feel me. Happy podcast day, brother. How you doing?
Good, bro. Can't complain. Glad we back, bro. Glad we finally back, man.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. It's my fault, chat. That you know what I'm saying. I'm kind of explain everything in a second here, but it's my fault that we've been gone for so long. So, as a lot of y'all probably already know, I just moved back to North Carolina about a month ago, almost a month ago. Not quite a month. It's been about 3 weeks. And it's just been busy, bro. It's just been a lot going on, adjusting to a new job, just getting my new place in order, and it's just been a lot, bro. So I haven't had a lot of time to be podcasting because work been kind of crazy, and you know how it is, Ken, when you like getting used to a new job and getting used to a new schedule and all that stuff. So pretty much I was going through all that these past couple of weeks. And then I had a laptop issue that was also preventing me from getting on the pod. So it was just a lot, bro. Like it was just a lot going on. It was just been a lot. But we back now permanently. I'm settled in now. Job is going well. The new job is going good. Everything's going good. People kept asking me like, man, when you come back with the podcast? Da, da, da. Even my old coworkers from Georgia was asking me like, bro, when y'all come back with the podcast? I'm like, bro, in due time. I just been busy, man, just trying to get myself together. But we are officially back. I'm glad to be back in North Carolina. As y'all can see, I got Raleigh in the background because that's actually, the area I stay in now. I stay in the Triangle area now. And I like it here. It's been pretty cool. Like it's actually like a really chill town. Like it's such a lifestyle change from like Atlanta. And Cam, I meant to tell you this too. And this is probably like not sports related. But dude, I don't think we realize how much time in Atlanta that we spend like in a car, bro. Like it's ridiculous. Like I'm not gonna lie, here in Raleigh, Durham area, I can get around here with ease. Like 5-10 minutes, barely any traffic. And I didn't realize how much time I was spending in my car until I moved here. And I was like, holy crap. I was spending like a whole 2 hours back and forth to work every day in car in Atlanta. I don't think we really realize how bad the traffic is there, bro. But I am glad to be back. I'm glad to be, back on the pod and stuff like that. But man, I'm not gonna lie. I don't miss the Atlanta traffic at all. Like I just don't. Like I'm not gonna lie, I don't miss it at all, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I didn't really realize how bad it was until I left and moved to another city. I was like, yo, we was in some bad traffic. Like I think there's only 3 cities that can really say they potentially have the worst traffic in the country. LA, Atlanta, and I would probably throw sneakily Houston or Chicago in there as well. Their traffic is pretty bad, but to me, Atlanta's number one. I think Atlanta has the worst traffic in the country, bro. I done been to LA plenty of times. I got there. The worst? No.
I lost you, bro.
And I didn't realize how bad it was until I moved here, but it's bad, bro. But anyway, yeah. Sorry to go off on that little tangent. But we glad to be back, y'all. We glad to be back. Me and Cam was just talking. It's just been so long. We got to knock off some rust. We got a deep show for y'all tonight. It's going to be a lot. So just stay in here, tune in, tweet out the link, and come in the comments and show us love, man. We appreciate all the love and support that we get. But it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot tonight. We're going to talk about the NBA conference finals coming up here. Does game 1-on-1 of the series start tonight? The
Minnesota,
West, right?
Minnesota and OKC start tonight.
So they start tonight. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the playoffs in general because we've missed a lot. The NBA lottery, we got to talk about that as well. We got to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about that. That was a big hoopla last week. There's just so much. The NFL draft, we didn't get to talk about that because it's been over a month. So we'll hit on that a little bit. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Is this beef a little deeper than basketball? I mean, we got to jump into an uncomfortable conversation because I think this is getting a little bit deeper than just basketball at this point. But we'll jump into that. Clemson is getting a lot of hype this offseason. K. Klubnik and company, everybody. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. So we got a lot to cover, man. GTA 6 has dropped their second trailer since the last time we talked. So we got to talk about that as well. So again, I know I'm doing a lot of rambling, but it's just a lot going on, and it's a lot that we have missed, and we want to just kind of make up for it, y'all, and try to give it back to y'all and try to give y'all our takes and stuff like that. So again, get in the comment section. Again, let us know what you think about the stuff we talking about. And Cam, if you're not ready, man, if you're ready, we can go ahead and dive on into it, man. Let's go ahead and dive in.
Sure.
Let's talk about the conference finals first. We got in the West, as you already stated, OKC versus Minnesota. Now, Minnesota was a 6 seed coming in here. Again, the West was super loaded. So a 6 team is almost equivalent to like a 2 or 3 this year. It was just a loaded year for the West, as always. They're coming in 0-0 slate. And then on the East side, we got a throwback series with the Knicks and also as well the Pacers. Let's talk about OKC and Minnesota a little bit. Let's start since that game is tonight. Let me get a take from you first. What do you think about this series? And honestly, who do you think wins when it's all said and done?
Man. Truth be told, bro, I don't know, man. I this one's tough. I've been going back and forth on it myself. This one's tough, bro. I think I'll be straight up with you. I think Minnesota has looked like the best team in the playoffs. So I think I'm gonna take Minnesota. I think it's an evenly matched series. I think that Minnesota did a really good job. Julius Randle has looked outstanding through the first 2 rounds. He's playing well, very well. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is giving you everything he got. Rudy Gobert has played very well. Jaden McDaniels is a playoff riser. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they are pretty loaded in Minnesota. So I'm gonna take Minnesota in this series. I'm gonna say I feel good about it, and they're coming off a lot of rest. They're probably the most. Them and the Pacers are probably tied for the most rested team, or the most rested team. So I'm gonna take Minnesota in 6 against OKC, and I think the first game is in OKC tonight. Yeah, and I think with OKC going to Game 7, the Nuggets giving them everything they got, and I know the Game 7 was a blowout, but still, they Minnesota's been off for almost a week now versus OKC just finished up their series on Sunday. So I'm gonna take the less fatigued team tonight as well. I'm gonna take Minnesota, but who you got?
I've been kind of back and forth on this series because on one hand, I think Minnesota has kind of been here before. Like even last year they were here, and I think the last couple of years they've shown tremendous growth. Like you said, Jaden McDaniels having a tremendous. Julius Randle is playing absolutely spectacular. I've never seen a trade where both teams made it out well, and that's the Knicks and also as well Minnesota. I think both teams got exactly what they needed from that trade, and both teams benefited. I think that Minnesota needed a little bit better role players to surround around Ant, of course, and they did that. And I think that's exactly what Ant needed. And I think the New York Knicks needed a star, and that's exactly what they got in Cat. So it's really benefited out well, and we'll jump into that later on. But not gonna lie, man, I'm kind of with you, man. I think it's just Ant-Man's time, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of with you. I think this guy's an ultra super competitive type. He's just a competitor, man. And I like OKC a lot. I still think that youth could catch up to them. Again, we've seen Minnesota the last couple of years, like the last 2 or 3 years, make steps towards this. We've seen that. OKC, last year they got kind of good and then fell off a map in the playoffs. This is year 2 of this. I think experience, kind of like what you said, I think it's going to play a role in this thing. And I'm with you, man. I think Minnesota wins this thing in about 6, bro. I can see this going to 6 or 7, but I'm not going to lie. I think Minnesota pulls this off, and I think they win in this series. I think Ant is just – he's ultra competitive, man. I just really like – and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the best player in the NBA this season. So kudos to him and stuff like that. But again, man, I just got to be honest, bro. In my personal opinion, I'm with you. I think it's the Wolves' year. And honestly, I'll just go a step further. I think they win the whole thing, bro. Whoever wins the West is winning the whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead and come out and say it. Whoever wins this series is going to be your NBA champions in a couple of weeks. I mean, that's just the facts. The West is too loaded. So that's what I think personally. Whoever wins this series is going to be the champion. So that's how I feel about that. Let me ask you a question since you know, I know your boys just got knocked out. How do you feel about, especially after the series, how do you feel about the Jokic and like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander like arguments for MVP? How do you feel about that? Because I haven't really got your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I it's tough to go against the guy like the best player on the best team type deal. You know, I think sometimes, you know, Shai, I think he won the scoring title this year as well. So I mean, it's not like they're just giving it to anybody. I mean, it's a close race. You know, Jokic being the first center to ever average a triple-double in the NBA, also being the first player to ever finish top 3 in points, rebounds, assists, and steals throughout the season. So he's got a really strong argument. And he led the Nuggets to 50 wins. So I mean, it's not like, you know, they weren't a good team. They very much were. But it's hard to go against a guy that, you know, led the Thunder to one of the top 10 records in NBA history, you know, 68 wins. It's tough, you know. If I had a vote, obviously it would go to Jokic, but I mean, I can't be mad, you know, that they're gonna give it to SGA. I think it's kind of crazy that they haven't announced it yet, because it's last year they announced it. I think they said on May 11th. The year before that it was like May 8th. So they taking their sweet precious time to get it out there. But I mean,
why does the NBA do that? Like their timing on like giving out awards is extremely strange. Like it's never like a set date. Like it's just like, oh, whenever in May we feel like dropping it, we're going.
Yeah.
Like I don't really get that.
I don't know either. I like the whole. I like the way that the NFL does it with the NFL awards. It's an actual show, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, it just. I think that the NBA deserves something like that, because I mean, there's a lot of awards.
We got to the finals or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, just. I mean, it ain't even got to be that long. I mean, just give it. You know, you can do it. You can do it because the NFL, they don't do it. They do it before the season. They do it like what, in between the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I'm about to say I think they do it normally like a couple nights before the Super Bowl. They do it.
Right. Yeah. Which is, you know, obviously everybody can't go to the award ceremony because they're, you know, practicing and preparing and everything. But I mean, you got to find a way to do it. Do either get the guys on, you know, TNT or ESPN, have them announce the awards. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like how they do the All-Star Weekend. Like you gotta, you know, give it some spectacle. Give it some spectacle. But which I also meant to get your take too, and maybe we can do this either later on in the episode. But I was thinking about the All NBA teams. You know what I'm saying? I forgot to get my list together, but I was gonna see who you had on your 3 All NBA teams. But we can just marinate on that for a little while. We get to it later. But yeah, so I think Jokic, like I said, he would have got my vote, but I'm not mad that Shai Gilgeous is gonna win. What about you? How you feel?
Yeah, pretty much same. I think me, you, and the whole world knows Jokic is the best player in the NBA right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think nobody is questioning that. But who's having the best season right now on the best team is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I think low-key, you could argue that he's the second or third, fourth best player in the NBA as well. I still would put Giannis kind of in that ballpark and, you know, guys like that. But yeah, so I do understand why he's up there. He deserves to be up there. And I just think it's, like I said, it's just his time to get the MVP. You know how it go. Because I thought personally he should have won it last year and they gave it to your boy. So I think they just doing the opposite this year. Like it probably should have went. Because I'm telling y'all now, and I know we're supposed to get to the Knicks and the Pacers, and we will. Without your boy, your team is dog crap. I'm just gonna cut right the chase. I mean, you've seen it in this series. Without Jokic, that team stinks.
He sat for 2 minutes and they went on a 13-0 run, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people always talk about his defense, but it's just more than that, man. It's more than that. You know,
He's a
I mean, the whole
distributor.
game.
He's everything, man.
He's everything. They just see the defensive side of the thing. See, it's the blocks is what stops him. He's not gonna block your shot, but the deflections, you know what I'm saying?
And
the
I think
steals.
another thing too is that he's such a quote unquote boring player. So a lot of people don't give Jokic his credit, but he'll put up some crazy video game numbers like 25, 13, and 10. Like it's nothing. So I think a lot of people just don't. He kind of getting the Tim Duncan treatment, I think, in my personal opinion.
He put up 60, 20, and 20 earlier this year, man. Like that's crazy.
That's not normal, bro.
That's crazy. I think it was 61. What was it? 61, 20, and 20? Or 60? Or no. No, it was 30, 20, and 20, but he had 61, 20, and 10 in another game. But still, it's the numbers are I mean, it's just like, bro. Yeah, it's like good God. But let's move on to the
let's talk about Pacers and let's talk about Pacers and the Knicks real quick. Knicks, I mean, they haven't been here in a long time, you know, so give them credit on that. I know you've probably seen the videos like on TikTok and stuff. They fans was going nuts. I think if they win the championship this year, would this be the first time like 50-something years, like 52 years, something crazy?
So the Knicks are the only. So the Knicks haven't won since like the 70s. Everybody else hasn't won at all.
So it's a very good chance we get a new champion that has never won at all. Yeah. And this would make 7 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken, that we've had a new champion, 7 years in a row. Which also gives. As much as I'm about to get on them about the next subject, we're going to talk about the NBA lottery. I do have to give the NBA a little bit of credit. Parity does seem to be existing. It does seem to be existing because 7 years straight with not like, you know, a back-to-back title or a dynasty, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. I do want to give them a little bit of credit on that. And most of the people have gotten bounced in like the second round, the year after.
Everybody's been bounced in the second round.
So everybody. Okay, I thought it was something like that. Yeah. Like it's so it's been pretty impressive on the parity end.
And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't even think we've seen two back-to-back teams in the finals. Like two teams go back to the, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even think
so.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think so, bro. I don't think we have.
I think the closest
look it up while we look here, but I don't think we have.
The closest we got, the Heat went back, but they lost both times, and then the Celtics went back, but they lost both, or they lost this first one and won the next time. But it was still a year in between both of them. So, I mean, it's still. I don't think we've had two or a team even play in the finals.
I'm looking it up right. Matter of fact, I'm looking it up right now just to get you a for sure answer. But I think you're right. I don't think we've seen that in the last couple of years, man. Honestly. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'll get you an answer after a while, but
I got you right here. I mean, you got so last year, you know who?
Yep, here it is. I got it.
Go ahead.
I got it. So yeah, so last year, like you said, you had the Boston Celtics in Dallas. Then the year before that, you had Denver and Miami. Then the year before that, you had Golden State and Boston. Then the year before that, you had the Phoenix Suns and the Bucks. Yeah. Nobody has made it back to back since 2018 when the Cavs and the Warriors both made. Oh well, the Warriors made it. Well, not both teams, but the Warriors made it back in 2019 again, where they lost to Toronto when Kawhi was there. So since 2019, pretty much essentially, none of these guys have made it. They haven't made it back to back, which that's pretty impressive.
That's what I'm saying. That's and a lot of people say that. I mean, it's people say that the league's in a bad spot for that reason, or I mean, there for some reason, I don't get that. I mean, I feel like that's good. You know what I'm saying? You want more teams to win, you know, to get there and win championships. I mean, it keeps people watching, you know. Because we remember them years when it was the Cavs and Warriors every year. We knew before the season even started that the Cavs and Warriors was going back, and that was 4 years in a row of the same exact two teams playing each other in the finals. We knew that, you know. So ultimately, I like, even though I liked it back then too, because that was really your three best players in the world going at it for 4 years in a row. That was awesome. But I really like how it is now because, yeah, Jokic is the best player in the world. Giannis is up there. Shai Gilgeous is up there. But you got guys like Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton. You know what I'm saying? All of these guys are really good too, and the gap between, a guy like Shai Gilgeous and an Anthony Edwards isn't as wide as the gap that, between Kevin Durant and whoever the fourth best player was back then. You know what I'm saying? It was a huge gap back then, but now there's not. So I like where the league is at in terms of, the outcome of the NBA finals. I do, and the playoffs. I think it's in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, I agree. Let's kind of get back on the subject of the Knicks and the Pacers.
Yeah.
I'll give my take first. I think the Pacers have been built very well, especially the last couple of years. I think they've done a good job with keeping Miles Turner. Every year, I swear to God, since like 2019, Miles Turner has been involved in every single trade week I can think of. Literally, every year. It's he getting traded to the Hornets. He getting traded to the Rockets. He getting traded to the Hawks. Like every year, and they have just kept him, and he's just kept getting better and better and better and developing. And Miles has done a really good job this season. It seems like he's taken another step in his development this year. I know you don't like him. I know you don't care for him. Halliburton been kind of playing, bro. I'm not gonna lie. He been kind of. I'm a little shocked myself the way he's played in these playoffs. We talk about playoff risers. He's kind of been one of them this year. I gotta give him credit. I know you're not a fan of Halliburton, but he's been good, bro. He's been good this year, this playoffs. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta give that nigga some credit, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah.
Halliburton's been good, and I think they've got a lot of good young pieces. Like what's my boy name? God.
Talking about the Pacers, they got Nembhard. He's incredible.
Nembhard and the other Mathurin.
Oh, Benny Mathurin, yeah.
They got some guys on there, man, and they've just done a really good job building that team. Knicks, let me talk about them real quickly. Me and you talked about it months ago. We said the New York Knicks needed to make it to the Eastern Conference Final. You remember we had that conversation with what they had on their team? We said they needed to at least make it here, and they did. With all the talent they got Cat, they got Michael Bridges, they got all these guys, Jalen Brunson. They needed to make it to at least here for me to be like, all right, successful season. Me and you talked about that months ago. That was a couple months ago when me and you talked about that. But yeah, bro, not gonna lie. Let me say this. ESPN wants it to be the Knicks because if it's the Pacers in Minnesota, real basketball people will watch it, but the casual fan will not. We're talking about two pretty small market teams in Minnesota, and let's just say Minnesota and Indiana. Two middle to small market teams, and it's going to be even worse if it's OKC and somebody else. The NBA is going to want to make the New York Knicks relevant. They're going to want to keep them relevant. So, in my opinion, I think the New York Knicks win this series. I do. Even though I think the Pacers are a better team. I think the New York Knicks wins this series in about 7. I think it goes to 7. I think the Pacers are a better team. Actually, I think they're playing better right now. But because what we about to jump into next, which is the NBA lottery being rigged, I think that the New York Knicks are going to get in. I think they're going to be in the finals for the first time in 50 plus years. I do. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? You're probably right for sure. But I can't, I'm gonna stick with the Pacers. I'm gonna stick with that pick.
So you believe in Halliburton now?
Oh yeah, man. Hey, look, man, he didn't change my mind. Boy, he didn't change me, man. I'm a believer now because that boy, look, he a killer, man.
Yeah,
he a
like
killer,
that, bro.
I like him. I like him and Neimark, man. I thought Neimark was
Yeah.
going crazy last year too. Neesmith is
Mhm.
good too. Aaron Nees,
Yeah.
Aaron Neesmith is good. Like you said, Miles Turner. I mean, the Pacers. You took the words right out of my mouth. They built for this, man.
They
Like
are. Yeah. Mhm.
they're a team. They're playoff risers as a team. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, they were really good in the regular season. They got to 50 wins, but this right here, I mean, they knocked off. They embarrassed the Cavaliers, bro. I mean, they had them looking ugly.
They
You feel
did.
me? They had the Bucks looking ugly. You know what I'm saying? I know the Bucks
Mhm.
ain't what they used to be, but they still had them looking rough. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they punked the Bucks so bad they got Giannis talking about some. You know, I'm ready to roll. You know, I'm thinking about leaving. So I mean, look, man. At the end of the day, I'm gonna take the Pacers just because I think the Knicks, again, they keep proving me wrong, but I feel like they're gonna burn out still. I still have a feeling that they're just gonna burn out, because
Mhm.
they play all the minutes. Now Tibbs has been going towards the bench a little bit more in
Yeah,
the
he
playoffs.
has.
I was actually surprised, but I just still feel like that they're gonna burn out, but they look so good against the Celtics, man. They look really good against the Celtics.
They did.
So and that was even before the Jason Tatum. I mean, it was up
Yeah, before
3-1.
the Tatum injury, they was already
Yeah.
in trouble.
So I think I'm with you though. I think they're gonna put the Knicks in the finals for sure.
Yeah.
But I think I mean the Pacers they're a better team. I think the Pacers, them and the Timberwolves, I think they're the best two teams in the field, man. I think they've looked the best out of everybody. They really ain't broken a sweat, in my opinion. So
I agree.
That's why I like Indiana. But let's go ahead and if you ready, let's dive right into it, man. And let's jump into this NBA draft lottery, bro.
Yeah.
And we need to we really I know you got bars, I got bars.
Yeah.
I first and foremost I wanna holler at my bookie real quick. My bookie ain't placed a bet, bro. I texted my bookie. I kid y'all not. I posted the screenshots on Twitter already, y'all. Matter of fact, I
Mhm.
texted my bookie. I said Utah. I said San Antonio. I said Dallas, and I forgot the other team I said. But those are the four teams I was gonna place a bet on them for. I was like, I know one of them four getting the number one pick. I knew it, and of course, it turned out to be the Dallas Mavericks. My bookie ain't placed a bet in time, so I ain't get my little money. But the odds were incredible for them, and they ended up getting the number one pick. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna let you take the floor on this one. What are your thoughts, bro? Like, how do you feel about the Mavericks getting the number one pick, bro?
For one, the NBA gotta cut the shenanigans. They gotta cut the shenanigans. This is WWE type scripted, bro.
WWE, bro.
Like, bro, this is terrible. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, first things first, bro. Nico, I'm starting to kind of be like, you know what? Maybe Nico Harrison fell on the sword because he knew what was coming down the pipeline from the NBA.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Hear me out, Cam. They had a 1.2% chance of getting the number one pick?
Something like that.
They had a 1.2% chance of getting the number one pick. I think what happened is Adam Silver back in January said, hey, Nico, bro, NBA ratings are we're cooked. The regular season is big right now. What I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna need you to fall on the sword for me here, is send your best player, a top 5 player in the NBA. Yes, send him to the Los Angeles Lakers. And what I'll do, and this is all alleged for litigation reasons, what I'll do is we'll get y'all the number one pick at the end of the year. You'll take all the beating. You'll take all the Oh, and by the way, the guy that you're getting is probably another generational white guy, which y'all love in Dallas as already.
Yeah.
So I'll just fall on the sword, take the beating for the next 3-4 months, and then we'll just bless you in a few months. This crap is rigged. This is a business. Adam Silver, you're not fooling me, brother. That's what happened. Cam, hear me out. How in the world And I'm gonna tell you another conspiracy in a second. How in the world is Dallas 1, a team that was just a year away? They was just in the Western Conference Finals last year. Then at 2, you put a Spurs team in a deep draft where they're young, they're good, they're just a couple players away from being relevant as well. Then the Sixers were just injured up this year. That's still a very good team. You put them at 3 in a draft that is very deep. The top 5 players are, I would say the top 4, really good. Cooper's on his own area. But when you got Edgecombe, all those guys, the Harper twins, Ace Bailey and all that, it's lit. The top 4 dudes are going to be certified dudes more than likely in the NBA going forward. Because after 5, there's a little bit of a drop-off. That's when you start getting to the Trey Johnsons and Con Knipples and all them. But the top 4 teams in the draft, or top 3 teams in the draft, they ain't really far away from being good teams again. Again, Dallas was just in the Western Conference Finals last year. They'll probably be, well, Kyrie's out for a while, so I don't know if they'll be back there next year, but they're going to be pretty good. Then you got the Sixers that just battled a lot of injuries. They were at 3. Then at 2 are the Spurs, who also lost their best player during the season. So in my personal opinion, I think this was staged. I do. I think staged. I think this was. I think the NBA rigged this whole thing. I'll just cut to the chase. I think the NBA rigged this crap. That's just me. I think about the story Shaquille O'Neal told when David Stern asked him, where would you rather go, to a cold place or a warm place? And I think that year, the number 1 pick was, I think, between Orlando and Minnesota. They had the best odds. He said, I'd rather be somewhere that's warm. He ended up in Orlando. LeBron James, he came out about 2 months ago on Pat McAfee's show and said, hey, man, I think it's kind of weird how I just ended up at Cleveland, where I'm from. He pretty much came out and pretty much said everything but this thing is rigged. It's just weird. It's just weird, bro. I think that it's certain things are coincidence and certain things are just set up. This whole NBA lottery thing is set up. And my thing is this. You say that the Jazz had the best odds. You said that the Hornets had the best odds. And who else was it? The Wizards. Bro, the Wizards didn't even crack the top 5. The Utah Jazz didn't even crack the top 5 in draft order. Bro, I can understand you saying you don't want to celebrate tanking and all that. I get that. I understand that. But what the NBA has told teams like Charlotte, Washington, Utah, you better get in the booth and start making some trades and stuff like that, because they ain't giving you no number 1 pick. The NBA is not coming to save you. They not. You better get in the booth and start making some smart trades and try to work yourself out of this, kind of similar to what the Pacers did, kind of similar to what OKC did after they lost everybody. You're going to have to work your way out of this on your own. And I don't know, man. I just think the thing is rigged, bro. I think the whole thing is rigged. I think it's set up. And I think it's just set up, man. I think it's rigged. I don't think it's fair. I think they need to go to an NBA, NFL type of vibe. I've seen people vouching, talking about, oh, the NFL need to go to this. No, the hell they do not. No, they do not. No, we don't need the NFL to go to this at all. Yeah, but in my personal opinion, I think the NBA lottery is rigged. And it seems to happen when there's a generational talent. That's when it's really rigged. Like, for example, Atlanta won it last year, which, again, that was kind of crazy, too, because they were like 11. But they did it in a year where didn't nobody care. The last year's draft, let's be honest, it sucked. Nobody in that draft class is good at all. The kid down there at San Antonio was pretty straight this year, that one rookie of the year. But besides that whole draft class stunk. So didn't nobody really care about. But it seems like a year like with Wemby, he ends up with the Spurs. Oh, wow, that's convenient. Then all of a sudden, white kid, talented, generational, ends up in Dallas. That's convenient. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of, I don't know. But that's my take on it. I think it's rigged. And I don't think
Yeah.
it's fair that teams like Charlotte, Washington, and Utah have to continue going through the same cycle because the NBA doesn't care about them. The NBA ain't trying to help y'all out. Y'all cooked.
Yeah.
But that's my take.
Yeah, no, you hit it right on the head. I mean, ain't nothing you can do. This is, I want to say, they said this is the 5th year in a row that the team with the best odds, and you probably already said it, but it's the 5th year in a row that the team with the best odds ain't get the number 1 pick.
Yep.
And then I want to say specifically the team with the best odds, it's like the 3rd year in a row they ended up with exactly the 5th pick.
Yep.
So it's like, come on, man. You know, teams, like you said, teams like Charlotte, what can you do? You know, you can't attract free agents because nobody's coming to the small market like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you can't, you know, as far as trade goes, you ain't got nothing really to trade unless you want to trade away all your future draft picks, which at the same time, at this point, you might as well do it because either A, you're not going to draft well anyway, or B, you're going to be drafting
7th in the draft.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not going to be drafting that high anyway, like as high as you might want. So, you know, that might be their best route, but at the same time, I mean, there's nothing that they can do. Same thing with the Washington Wizards. There's nothing. Now the Wizards, they've got a little bit of a, you know, a small nucleus that they can at least try to do something, either flip them or at least see what they can do. But at the same time, they ain't good enough. I mean, if they was good enough, they would have won more than 18 games this year or whatever it was, you know? So even if they are young, they still would have did better. The youngest team in the league is OKC, and they got 68 wins. So it's really no excuse there, in my opinion. But ultimately, you know, them bad teams, man, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. It is absolutely rigged, like you said. There's been way too many times, like LeBron even said with Cleveland. You know, Shaq came out and said it with Orlando. You know, like you said, I mean, they just, things like this just happen. You know, it's just, the NBA is not slick. You know what I mean? All the stars somehow end up in Lakers uniforms. Come on now. You know, like, it's just stuff, just it happens like that, you know. And then the draft lottery, the teams that it benefits are the teams, like you said, like the San Antonio Spurs, like the Los Angeles Lakers, like the Philadelphia 76ers, like the Boston Celtics. You know, these are all the teams that when you look at the history, go and look, just go look at the last 10, 15 years in the NBA lottery and look at which teams picked where, and look at how the season before it went for them. The Boston Celtics, when they selected Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in back-to-back years, the Celtics weren't even that bad, bro.
No.
You know what I'm saying? The Lakers that one year when they got the 4th pick, and I forgot who they took. I think they took Lonzo Ball or something like that. The Lakers wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just these teams, they get lucky. That's how they benefit. The Spurs, when they got the number 1 pick, yeah, they were bad, but they've been good for the last 25 years before that.
Yeah.
So it's like the teams that it benefits those teams that are rarely bad, and it puts a lot of pressure on the teams that are consistently bad, like Charlotte, like Washington. You know what I mean? And as far as the people coming out saying that the NFL needs to do this, shut up, man. You stupid. You can't give me one good reason. You cannot give me one good reason why the NFL should go to a lottery. There's not one good reason.
No.
And I don't understand. I really want to understand the mindset behind it, because it's not good. Like, excuse me, how do you see fans complain all the time about the NBA lottery and then think, you know what, the NFL could use something like that? For what?
No.
For what? Number one, the NFL has way more players and way more picks and more selections. You know what I mean? So it makes no sense to even do a lottery because you got 7 rounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what's the point of shuffling the first 10 picks or whatever it is going to be? You know what I'm saying? What's the point? You know?
There's none. There's no point.
There's no point in that. Like, you know who would have got the first pick this year if they did the NFL lottery? Ironically, it would have been the Panthers. We would have got the first pick this year. Ironically, it would have been us. But once again, there's no point. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, like what we won how many games last year? 5, 6?
5, yep.
They won 5 games last year. Tennessee won 2 or 3. Tennessee would have ended up with the 5th pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm trying to think what other teams would have been in the mix, but they might have lost out on Cam Ward that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they would have been back to square one. They would have been garbage.
I definitely don't want that in the NFL. I don't.
You can't. There's nothing. You can't. Like, there's no reason. There's no benefits to doing it in the NFL.
Zero.
You know
it ain't no benefits doing it in the NBA for real.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest, if we gonna go that far.
And I hate when people say, "Well, it stops tanking." Bro, you cannot sit here and tell me that if you look at that Charlotte Hornets roster, or you look at that Washington Wizards roster, or you look at that Utah Jazz roster, you can't sit here and tell me that they wasn't tanking anyway. You know what I'm saying? The teams ain't good.
Yeah.
They just not good. Like, what do you mean it's gonna stop? This stops tanking. No, it doesn't. Because they were still tanking. When I look at the Philadelphia 76ers, this was gonna be a down year for them anyway. But you can't tell me that they didn't tank. I know they did.
Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah,
I know they did.
They definitely called it in at one point instead of
when
they pulled Embiid, they was like, "Oh yeah, it's over."
Yeah, when they pulled Embiid, and then when Buddy got hurt, McCain, they rookie, when he got hurt, they was like, "Shoot, that's it." I mean, it was. Yeah, and they still
got rewarded number 3 pick.
Yeah,
and they clearly tanked.
So that's why I say, I mean, it just makes no sense to say that it stops tanking, as if, again, on top of that, as if the NFL teams tank. We used to say this all the time. We used to discuss this. I think we can clearly see now that really ain't no teams really tanking out there. Some teams just suck.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it this year, can you name me one team that actually went out there and tanked this year? Because I can't.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the worst team in the league you could say was the Tennessee Titans, but they didn't tank. They just were bad. Mm-hmm. They were awful. They were stupid for letting Derrick Henry walk. But that's just what made them. That's just what made them really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I mean, there's no tanking. And then in the NBA, are you gonna sit there and really get out there and tank 82 games in a row? Come on, man. Be for real, man. Ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody doing that. So there's no benefit to first of all, there's no benefit to tanking in the NBA, but there's also no benefit to doing the NBA lottery, because we already know who's gonna get the first pick. We already know.
So, yeah, I agree with you. Shout out to AB. Said, "Miss y'all boys. Appreciate you, bro. We back live and active with it, man. So we appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump into, because we got a lot to jump into tonight. So I'm trying to keep it moving. You was talking about all NBA. Okay. I don't let's do it quickly. Just give me your 3-point guards. Let's just do it like that. Who would be your 3 at point guard? And then we'll just go from position to position.
So first team. Oh man, first team point guard is it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I'm on the same page with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Second team point guard, I would have I think I would have Stephen Curry. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm actually gonna have I'm gonna go Jalen Brunson.
Second team. That's what I was thinking. Second team. That's what I was thinking.
I'm gonna go Jalen Brunson, second team point guard. Yeah. Third team point guard. God, I guess I'm gonna go Stephen Curry.
Yeah, that's the order I would have went. I'd have went Steph, 3, third team. Second team would have been Brunson. 1 would have been Shai. Let's go to the 2. Who you got it? And I got the same list, by the way, so we can just knock this all out.
Yeah.
2.
So the 2. Oh boy. Who did I have earlier? Go ahead. You give me yours. Who you got at first team?
2. Who, man? All right.
Oh, I know mine.
Go ahead.
First team all NBA for the 2 would probably be Donovan Mitchell for me. That's
he was incredible this year. Yeah,
that's who I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Mitchell.
Yeah, he was incredible. So at the 2, I think I would have Donovan Mitchell as well. Second team, I think I would have. See, I don't know. With this positionless basketball, it's a little harder.
So basically, you don't have to do. They just do it by guards, forwards, and centers. So you can do.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't care for him, but Jimmy Butler on the Warriors was special. He was good.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if he was eligible though. I don't think he made that 65 games.
Okay, he didn't make 65
Yeah,
games.
he
Yeah,
didn't
you're
make the
right. You're right.
65
You're right.
games.
You're right. You're right. You're right. He
So
didn't make
so
65 games.
so for me, I give you my second team. It would
Okay.
probably be God, man, this is tough, bro. I really don't want to do it, but I'm gonna put I think I'm gonna have to go Cade Cunningham, second team all NBA.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
How do you
I'm
feel
gonna go
about
Cade.
Jalen Green, third team?
Nah, I'm gonna leave him off on
You
mine.
gonna leave him off? Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave him off on mine because I got some other names that I'm thinking about. That's like I gotta have
I
these
gotta think
guys.
too. I'm kind of going off the fly with it.
See, it's tough because like I'm trying to think. So my issue is I got to figure out what team I want to put Anthony Edwards on. That's the problem for me.
Oh, well, is he at 4? Is he at? He would be a 4. He would be at 4, like wing, right?
So you can probably put him at 2 or 3. Just
Okay.
depends on what you want to.
So if that's the case, I would put Anthony Edwards at my second. If that's the case,
yeah,
and then Cade Cunningham at my third, personally.
And see the issue for me is because now I'm between because I gotta have Donovan Mitchell on the team because he led the Cavs, but I also gotta have Halliburton on the team, and I also have to have Anthony Edwards, and I also have to have Cade Cunningham. So somebody I'm gonna have to leave off like a 3. So I'm gonna put on my third team. I'm gonna go ahead and put I'm gonna have to put I'm gonna actually put Halliburton on third team,
Yeah.
Point guard, and then so first team at the 3. For me, that's easy. That's Jason Tatum. I don't think that's even really I don't think that's really really up for debate. Who you got first team at the 3?
Did you say Tatum?
I got Tatum at the 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would put Tatum too.
Yeah.
I probably would put Tatum at the 3.
Yeah. And then second, so for me, second team is gonna be LeBron.
Oh yeah,
James.
LeBron. Yeah, of course. Yeah, LeBron. And then
Yeah.
I was thinking about. I think he at the 4 though, because I was thinking about Evan Mobley. That's who I was thinking about just now.
Yeah.
He's a 4, so he's definitely going on one of my teams on the 4.
On one of
I'm
them
just gonna let
teams.
y'all know that now. And then at the 3 for small forward, dang, where would I go with this? Who was really good at small forward this year? I'm kind of going off the fly because I'm trying to think about.
So that's where I think I'm gonna put that's where I'm gonna put Anthony Edwards. I'm gonna put.
Oh yeah, because you put Anthony Edwards. Yeah, I don't know who I'll put at the 3.
I'm gonna make him my third team 3. But
actually, I'm gonna do what you did. I'm gonna take Halliburton off. I'm gonna put Halliburton on my 2 and put Anthony at 3. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So fourth spot, first team, Giannis, easy.
Giannis, yeah, easy. My second team's Mobley. I'm telling y'all that now. Yeah, Mobley was good this year.
And I'm cool with that. I will put I'm gonna take Mobley, a second team, and then for third team, I'm gonna take Şengün from Houston. That's where I'm gonna put.
Şengün was good this year.
Yeah,
he's a little undersized because sometimes I'll play him at the 5, but he was good this year, man. I think at the 4 though. He just was. I don't think he's eligible. But Paolo, somebody said in the comments, Paolo Banchero had a good season. Does he mostly plays at the 4 though, right?
Yeah, he's a 4. He's not eligible though, unfortunately.
He's not eligible. Okay, so I probably will go with the same thing you got there. Yeah,
he's a 4. Yeah, I would put Şengün there. No, excuse me. No, I said Giannis. Who I said? Giannis, Evan Mobley. Yeah, and Şengün. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Şengün, yeah.
And then 5,
Jokic, of course.
I got Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns
second team.
Good.
And then third team, man, I might have to go. I'm thinking. I'm slick thinking somebody like Jaren Jackson Jr. Man.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know either him or hey, bro, I almost want to put Zubac on there from the Clippers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else.
What about somebody said Gobert? That's not a bad one. He was good defensively this year.
Yeah, AD wasn't eligible. Malik,
AD not eligible. Y'all going crazy in the comment section now. Y'all was asleep. Y'all here with us now.
Yeah.
Comments going crazy.
Well, I feel like I'm missing somebody, man. I know I know people were saying James Harden was eligible for a team. He might make a team for real, but let me see. Let me see who I'm missing, man. Who I said? I said Cat, right?
Yeah, you said Cat at
Um,
the at first team.
so I would go, boy.
You said Cat first team. What's his name? Second team.
No, Jokic first team, Cat second
Yo,
team,
yeah, yeah. Jokic first team, Cat second team. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
and then third team. I said, yeah, it's probably gonna be either Zubats
I probably would go Zubats.
or Jaren Jackson, one of them.
I'm
Man,
going Zubats.
hold on, bro. Hold on. Let's see. Let me see who I see who I'm thinking, bro. So who am I missing? Yeah, Sengun. Oh, so they saying so somebody ain't got Karl Anthony Towns on their team. Oh yeah, they do. They don't have I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with I like that. I think I'm gonna go with so first team, just to recap, I'm gonna go Shea. Uh dang, I forgot who I said at the two already. I got Shea, I got Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell. I got Tatum, Giannis, and Jokic. Second team, um I'm going with Steph. No, I'm going with Brunson, Cunningham, Bron, boy, Mobley, and Karl Anthony Towns. Third team, I'm going with Halliburton, Edwards. No, boy, I done missed somebody, man. I should have wrote that down. Who did I miss, bro? Who did I say earlier? Third team. Oh no. Excuse me. I said Steph. Third team. Steph, Halliburton,
Mm-hmm.
Edwards, um, Shingun, Jackson Jr. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
valid. Let's
I'm gonna
let's
go with
go
that.
ahead shortly. Let's move on to NFL draft because we missed that too. Let's make this short because it's been a month, so like at this point it don't. I mean, shoot, it don't wore off by now because it's been a month, but we'll keep it short. Um, who was kind of like some of your surprise teams that you think did good in the NFL draft? You know, talk to me. Who you think did a good job in the draft this year?
Man. So I really liked. Obviously, I thought for me personally, I thought Carolina did a really good job. I know that's I know home team type deal, but I thought Carolina did a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressed with what they had going on. Um, I thought that oh man, I just had them. They just slipped my mind, bro. In my opinion, Cleveland, bro. I
Yeah,
was actually pretty impressed with Cleveland. I know they took two quarterbacks, but if you look at the rest of the picks, I mean, they got Sampson, they got my boy Judkins, they got Fannin. I thought they knocked it out the park, man. I thought Cleveland did a really good job. In addition
I
to getting
thought that
Gabriel
dude
Shadur.
from UCLA too, the linebacker they got, he cold too.
Yeah, Caleb, something, ain't it? Caleb,
Swallinger or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah,
cold.
yeah. Forgot of it. Dang, yeah,
Yeah,
they had a really good job.
yeah.
You know what? Chicago. Chicago did a good job too,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
First pick, I thought they would have went Tyler Warren, but they did a really good job, regardless, because Colston Loveland is a good player too. So
yeah.
but I gotta go back and look at some of these drafts because I can't even remember who
Yeah, it's been a while, man. Like I said, we done missed it because it was a month ago. So I'm kind of with you. I think Carolina did a good job. I think the Commanders too did a really good job. I like some of the people they added on their team as well. I thought they did a pretty good job. Honestly, I thought the Falcons drafted really, really well. I didn't care for them trading back up to get James Pierce Jr. And giving up a first round pick next year if I was a Falcons fan. But like Billy Bowman, really good pick. Xavier Watts, really good pick. They did some really good things. So I was kind of impressed with what the Falcons did. Who else was I pretty impressed by draft? I mean, your team, Baltimore, they always draft well.
Yeah,
They did a really solid job. I think the Rams again knocked out the park again for a second year when it came to draft picks. They did a really good job as well. So those are some of the teams I think did a really good job in drafts. Just off the top of my head, again, not really a lot to go into in the NFL draft because and it's been you kind of talked about it a little bit. We'll hit it at a hometown angle, and then we're gonna kind of move on to the next thing. Panthers. What did you think about, what did you think about Teteroa McMillan becoming a Panther? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, so we talked about it. I know we talked about it, me and you personally, but I thought they had a really good draft in total. I like, for it to be a first round pick for them to go wide receiver. I think, I think me and you both was expecting Jalen Walker to be the pick.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Panthers were expecting that, but I also think a lot of Panthers wanted Nalo McMillan as well. So I don't think, I wasn't mad at the pick. I kind of expected it. I predicted it a long time ago that Canales would probably try to go for an offensive guy on with the first selection, knowing that we needed pieces elsewhere. But at the same time, when I look at the rest of the draft, I'm like, man, I feel like we really did a good job though, because I'm in love with both of our edge picks, and I'm glad that they doubled up at edge too. Instead of just picking one and then trying to, move on to something else. I thought they did a really good job getting Nick and Princely, so I'm impressed by that. My least favorite pick of the whole draft for the Panthers was Trevor Etienne. Not really.
That seems to be everybody's least favorite pick.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in no bad way towards him or nothing like that. He's fine, but I just, it's not for me. It's not the I don't know. It's just I like the other picks better. I'll put it that way. I don't think it's a bad pick or nothing like that. Like I think he'll be fine, and I don't think he's gonna get many touches this year anyway. Behind being RB3 or whatever. So I'm not mad at the pick or nothing like that. But Mitchell Evans he's a pretty good tight end prospect out of Notre Dame. I thought that was a good pick. And then Jimmy Horn Jr., man, getting him late in the draft.
I like that pick a lot.
That's a really good pick, man. So I like what Carolina did, to be honest with you. I think they hit pretty much every position that we kind of need. I know a lot of people say we still need some help at corner, but I mean, shoot, other than that, bro, you can't get everything in one draft. You can't.
Right.
But I thought they did a really good job of at least trying to. So I walked away pretty impressed with Dan Morgan and Canales.
I'm with you. I wasn't a big fan of the Ted McMillan draft, but I've kind of came around to it now a little bit more. I wasn't a fan of it when it initially happened because I was kind of like locked in on Jalen Walker, like kind of like what you were saying. And now I kind of hate that he's going to the rivals in the Falcons. Yeah. And we'll have to see him 2 times a year, and both the Charlotte kids, Pierce and Walker, both get to come back home every year. So that's a little annoying, and I hope they don't turn out to be good, because that's going to be really annoying if they do. So hopefully that's not the case. But I wasn't a big fan of the Ted McMillan signing, but now that I've kind of calmed down and looked over things, it makes a little more sense now. I think you do have to do all you can to get every single bit of a weapon for Bryce Young. So now looking back at it, I do understand. I think they're just like, this is the year you have to prove it to us, Bryce. And now since you have a wide receiver, you need to show us what you got even more. So I'm a little more understanding of it now than I was at that time. And I like what they did on the second day too, with they went defense heavy after that. So then I kind of started to feel better. I like the Skorskin. I had him as a first round pick. I thought he was going to be a late first. So I was glad we got him. And then Onlay was getting a lot of first round hype too. So I was pretty glad we got him what we got him at too as well. So again, not really mad at it. After think things through, Mitchell Evans is a good really pick. I'm not a big fan of the Lathan Ransom pick. To me, it just kind of gives off box safety. Like he can only play up in the box, because I didn't really see no coverage take from him.
It's run support for sure. That's what.
Yeah, it's giving more like he gonna be almost like a linebacker essentially. Like in my personal opinion. So I didn't really care for that pick. Trevor Etienne, I don't think he's going to be on the field much, like you said. Anyway, so I'm not really that mad at it. So Denzel, we'll kind of veer off a little bit here. Denzel said wasn't a fan of the T-Mac pick, but now I'm cool with it. It's talks that we may get Jalen Ramsey at quarterback. What's your thoughts? I did see something about Jalen Ramsey was complimentary to Evero, I think, the other day ago or something like that. And people, Panther fans, just kind of automatically jumped the gun. Like, oh, he coming to Carolina. Like, I don't know if that's really the case. It might just more so be he's complimentary to Evero because he coached him in LA. Yeah. So that's probably it. That's probably all there is to it. And I don't know, is Jalen Ramsey a free agent? Or am I tripping?
He trade target, I believe.
So he's not even a free agent.
Man, if he a free agent, somebody need to pick that up. He can't be no free agent.
I don't even think he's a free agent, so I don't really know how that would work. But again, it might just be a guy that's just being complimentary to a guy that he's already worked with. That literally could just be the gist of their whole relationship or whatever, or of that comment. So I don't think it's that big of a deal personally. You said what?
We get. I said I ain't even hear about that. That's crazy. If we get Jalen Ramsey,
yeah, boy, Panthers Twitter was talking about it. That's the only reason I heard about
it. I'm acting unruly if they pull that off.
AB said no, he is not a free agent. Yeah, I didn't think he was. Because Jalen Ramsey is still a top 5 corner. I hope y'all know that.
I'm telling you, boy.
He's still a top 5 corner. He couldn't be. We're not allowed to sit up here just because he's older now. That's why I said he's still a top 5 corner. So
that's why I say he can't be no free agent because somebody will scoop that up on day one. Ain't no way, man.
Yeah, no. Let's move on. We got like 2 more subjects to hit, and then we'll be done for the night. Let's talk about the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese thing a little bit.
Oh yeah, man.
Let's hit on that. You done seen the situation where I just got caught up on this today with the Ryan Clark and RG3 situation. Is it true that Ryan Clark has a white baby mama? Is that true?
I got bars, man. I got I did some digging. So his first. So he
did all this. Our black queens matter, and he got
hold on. So I got a couple things.
Bro, hold on, Cam. I got a couple things. Cam. Hold on, Cam. Are you confirming to me that this dude got a white baby mama?
His first child, yeah, his first child. But hold on.
Go ahead,
a couple things for context. So it's not his wife, right? His wife,
yeah.
Him and his wife raised their kids or whatever together. But he had her when he was 19. You know what I'm saying? So he was still in college and everything when he had his first child. But yeah, no, I had to do some digging. I was like, man, ain't no way. But yeah, it's true. And he talked about it on ESPN one time because it was something I seen a video of him talking about it. But ultimately it's not, the conversation between Ryan Clark and RG3. It wasn't that RG3 is married to a white woman. It was the fact that every time RG3 keeps reminding us that he's married to a white woman. That was the issue there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I agree with, essentially the gist of it is that RG3 can't ever just say, me and my wife are happy. We proud. It's always me and my white wife are happy. And, I'm so in love with my white wife. And that's the issue that Ryan Clark was taking with it. It's like, you basically what's the word I'm looking for? Well, I done lost it. But basically you're reserving your wife and glorifying her based on her skin color more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just, how she makes you feel as a man and how, essentially how she, what she gives you as a woman. So, but that whole conversation was crazy. I don't disagree with what Ryan Clark said at all, to be honest with you, but yeah, it's just, it's a deep conversation, a lot of talking, going on, but let's get back to the, the matter at hand when it comes to the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark situation. So for everybody, I know y'all know, but, we was watching the game and everything, and essentially, it was a hard foul. And it was a flagrant foul. Actually, she got hit with Caitlin Clark got hit with a flagrant one. And Angel Reese got back up and was ready to go after her and everything. But Couple things I want to get off, first before you go to number
Yeah.
one, and it's gonna ruffle some feathers, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think that the WNBA is getting bigger, and I'm glad. I really enjoyed the games that I watched so far this season. They, it's the WNBA is a really good league, and that's real basketball being played there. But what
Mhm.
people don't understand is, specifically people, the discourse online about it is that you have to treat it. We're treating it the same way that we treat the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The MNBA. Like, let's just give an example. Draymond Green, he hard fouls every single game. He's
Mhm.
got the most. Anthony Edwards got the most techs in the league. Like, these are the players. The MNBA, they make the same types of fouls. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
rivalry. There's bad blood there. You know what I'm saying? And some players even hate each other. But at the NBA, or at the end of the day, it's just sports. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, unfortunately, with the WNBA talk and the discourse behind it, specifically because they're women, I'm just gonna say it like that. Specifically because they're women, a lot
Mhm.
of people can't handle the fact that we're talking about the sport in the way that we're talking about the sport. You know what I'm saying? Now, yes, I do agree that sometimes it's too comical, and we probably take things too far for sure.
Mhm.
As people, we do it in the NBA too. We take things way too far. Too many narratives. It's soap opera stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But at the end of the day, that's how we partake in our sports, right?
Mhm.
So I think that people got to understand that, in my opinion, is there a bit of bad blood between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't think they intended it for it to become like this, but I think when they listen to the media, like,
Yeah.
hey, think about it. Angel Reese, there's nothing, every time she does something, anytime she poses on in front of a magazine, anytime she has a photo shoot, anytime she misses a layup, Caitlin Clark's name always comes up, even if she's not in the
Mhm.
game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's got to be so tiring for you to be not even the second pick in the draft, but you were like the seventh pick. It's got to be so
Mhm.
tiring for you to hear people always bring up Caitlin Clark and try to put you in the same conversation as her, as if you're not trying to make your own legacy and trying to
Mhm.
build your own path. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's really insane, and it's really not fair to Angel Reese. But I'm sure she does feel some type of animosity towards that. You know what I mean? Towards Caitlin Clark because of that. And as far as Caitlin Clark goes, I'm sure she probably feels some type of animosity as well, because Angel Reese pretty much embarrassed her back in college. You know what I'm saying? And she might not have been able to let it go. Even though Caitlin Clark is heralded as the next big thing in the WNBA and is probably on her way to becoming the GOAT, because she's already shattering
Yeah.
so many records. So it's like it's yeah, there's definitely some rivalry there, and there might be a lot of people say, RG3 said that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. I don't think she hates
I
her.
don't think so. Yeah. Mhm.
I don't think she hates her. But does she feel some type of way about her? Maybe so. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Maybe
Mhm.
it's kind of like how you remember when Steph and LeBron, they was
Yep.
facing the finals, and they both came out and even said, for a minute, man, I ain't really rock with Brian like that for a minute.
Yeah.
We didn't
Mhm.
hate each other, but we was rivals. I mean, we couldn't really, like, what was the point of us dapping each other up, knowing
Yeah.
that we gonna get physical at the end of the season? So it's like it's the
Mhm.
same thing going on right here, man. The difference is, and this is where I'm really about to lose some people. The difference is Caitlin Clark is in a whole nother realm, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to bash on Angel Reese, but she definitely need to work on them layups, man. She shooting 38% as a big on layups. That's not good, girl. That ain't good. You know what I'm saying? So for her to get, her respect, she got to play a little bit better. Her game got to be better than what
Mhm.
it's been. You know what I mean? For her to get her respect, because even though she's iconic and she has more followers than Caitlin Clark does,
Mhm.
she's done more than Caitlin Clark has off the field. I mean, she's a trailblazer for sure, but it's just that people keep comparing her to Caitlin, And I know that probably drives her insane. It probably drives both of them insane.
Yeah, probably both of them.
Nothing,
Yeah.
there's nothing that they can do to escape it, you know. And I really hate that every time that something goes on between them, they try to paint Angel Reese as the angry black woman. They always Barstool president was at the game. You already knew how it was gonna go down. He was at the game with his fat excuse my, I ain't even gonna say it. He was at the game. He was at the game.
What's his name? Dave Portnoy? Ain't that his name?
Like that, man. Something like that. He was at the game rocking his Caitlin Clark jersey. So I know when he seen that go down, I already knew what was gonna happen, how they was gonna try to spin it towards Angel Reese. But we all saw the film, we all saw the game, we all saw what happened. You know, I don't think she was trying to hurt her or nothing like that. But yeah, she definitely
a hard foul.
Yeah, she definitely was trying to foul her for sure. You know, but I mean, it happens in the game. That's what it happens. You know, what's your thoughts on it?
Let's have the uncomfortable. I agree with everything you said, by the way. I'm with you 100% about pretty much everything you just said. But let's get into the real aspect of this. The WNBA is going through their Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson moment right now. That's what's happening. And I agree with everything you said. The rivalry has been built through college. You know, these girls played against each other in college and stuff like that in the national championship game and all that stuff. So it makes sense. I get it. I truly do. I get it. But the thing is, man, we gotta get the real part out here. There is a race there's a race part that is playing in this whole thing, bro. Like, I think it's getting to a point now where it's getting unhealthy, where it's literally like white versus black. Like, if you black, you gotta rock with Caitlyn. If you black, you gotta rock with Angel. If you white, you gotta rock with Caitlyn. You feel me? Like, and I think it's getting to a point where it's being race. It's about race. I like both of them. I'm like TJ in the comments. I like both of them. I'm a fan of Caitlin Clark. I'm a fan of Angel Reese. I'm a fan of both of them.
Yep.
And I think both of them are tremendous players. I do think Caitlin is generational. I think she's different. But I think there is a concept where, I'm just going to keep it real, a lot of racist white folks are riding behind Caitlin Clark. And I think it's black folks like, well, we got to pick up our sister. We riding behind Angel Reese. And it's the 1960s all over again, essentially.
Yep.
So a lot of that is happening too.
If you don't pick a side, if you black, you either a coon, and if you white, I don't know what word they use for them, but like you said, go ahead.
Yeah, but I think that's really what's happening. I think that's the uncomfortable part that nobody want to bring up, but that's also happening. That's also happening too. Yeah. And I think the NBA ain't trying to really stop. The WNBA ain't really trying to stop that from happening, because they're like, oh, it's attention. Now, I'm going to say this too, and I don't want to get on Caitlin because she's on like 20. She's young.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark could have did a little bit of a better job by saying, hey, y'all need to quit talking about that girl like that. Caitlin Clark has not did a good job trying to like cool off her supporters. I'm going to be honest. I do want to be real on that. She ain't went out, and at least that what I know of, she ain't went out and said, hey, man, y'all don't be disrespecting Angel Reese like that. She, at least, I don't know if you seen her come out and say that. I do think as big as a platform as she has and as big as she is, Caitlin Clark should have been like, hey, y'all wilding. I will say that. But, she can't control a bunch of adults and stuff like that either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you racist, you racist. That's what it is. But I do agree. I think that Angel Reese is being vilified every single game, and it's just not right, personally.
And I think a lot of people, for some reason, and I'm not even gonna say for some reason, for racist reasons, a lot of people. I had a discourse with somebody earlier today online, and they was talking about how Angel Reese tries to play the villain, and she tries to victimize herself. And I'm like, where did you see that? Like, when did she do that? You know what I'm saying? When did she ever say it? She might have said once or something that she embraces a villain role or whatever like that. But when did she ever try to play the victim? She got hard fouled and she got back up. And you know who walked away from that? Caitlyn walked away from that. So how's, you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand, like a lot of people try to say, like, it's so weird, the discourse. And again, like you said, It's because she black, bro.
Yep.
And a lot of people riding with Caitlyn because, like you said, she's coming into a predominantly black league. She's coming into a league where they ain't really seen outside of, I guess, Diana Taurasi, you know what I'm saying, and maybe a couple others straggling through there. They ain't really seen no white girl go crazy like this in a league in a league full of black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially in college basketball, where nobody but her. Paige was out for the 2 years that Caitlyn was going crazy, so with nobody but Caitlyn going crazy like that in terms of white girls in college, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's, I mean, obviously, Cam Brink was really good, and a lot of the other girls that got drafted last year.
They wasn't no Caitlin Clark and
they
no
wasn't
Paige
Caitlin Clark, though.
Yeah,
exactly.
No,
they wasn't Caitlin Clark. Exactly.
Let me read some of these comments real quick because we got a lot of comments. They said Caitlin Clark has the power to stop all of that. And I agree with this. Caitlin Clark has the power to stop all of that because of most of the racial slurs are coming from people who support her. I do agree. I think Caitlin Clark should step up and be like, look, I don't stand behind no racism. If y'all on that by y'allself. And it only happens when the sky play the fever. I've noticed that as well. It's a lot of that going on. Denzel said, which is why people ride for Paige Beckers because she has stepped up on those racist comments. And I have seen black mom. She was raised by a woman. Y'all do know that, right? Paige was raised by a black woman. Her stepmom is black. I ain't going for none of that. So I think a lot of this is just a lot of race stuff. And I know race gets uncomfortable, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. That's what's going on here in this situation.
Yeah, it absolutely needs to be. Somebody needs to touch on it. Somebody got to say something, And unfortunately, with the climate that we living in, man, it's just not going to go. It's just not going to go well. Angel Reese is always going to lose this. She's always going to lose this because it's just not going to
look
go
like
well
angry, mad black woman every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
So
I get where RG3. I mean, I get where Ryan Clark was coming from. I really do. And yeah, we already talked about RG3 and Ryan Clark going back and forth with each other as well. Let's start transitioning to our last sports subject of the night. Clemson football. Let's talk about it real quickly. Clemson's getting a lot of hype, Cam. Clemson's getting a lot of hype going into this offseason. I don't know where you've seen them ranked at a lot, but I've seen like number 1, I've seen number 3, I've seen number 2. And Clemson is going to be loaded on every single place on the field. At quarterback, Cade Klubnik is getting ranked like number 1, number 2. In pretty much every thing I've looked at, he's being ranked top 3, no less than 3. The wide receivers, I think Clemson potentially has the best wide receiving core in the country this year, even over Ohio State and LSU with what they have. When you think about Antonio Williams, a lot of people are giving him first round hype. I've been seeing him getting mocked in first rounds, and I never thought I would see that.
I was actually surprised by that.
Yeah, he was getting mocked in first rounds, bro. Yeah.
Good, but I didn't know people thought he was that good.
Yeah, Antonio Williams is getting a lot of hype. Yeah. Antonio Williams is getting a ton of hype. TJ Moore getting a ton of hype, especially off that Texas game when he torched that good defense, had 116 yards in that game. Brian Westco, your guy from your city, Tyler Brown, we just forgot about him. He could start at a lot of good schools. Then you got Tristan Smith that just came in. So the wide receiver room is as loaded as Clemson has ever had it in a while. It's been a while. It's been about 6 years since the wide receiver room been this loaded.
Look good.
Then when you look at the offensive line, they pretty much bring everybody back. So Clemson, I think, only lost 2 starters on offense, and that was Maffa and Brandstool. That's it. Everybody else is back. And then when you go look at the defense, it's loaded. At DN, you got transfer Will Help. At defensive tackle, you got DeMonte Cartwright and probably the best defensive tackle in the country in Peter Woods. Then at DN, you got Tamarion Parker, who a lot of people are saying is probably the best DN in the country. And I don't think they're wrong with that.
For sure.
And then at linebacker, you have Wade Woodass, who started for like 4 years now. Yeah. And also as well, Sammy Brown, who had a tremendous year 1.
Yep.
And then at corner and safety, I think this is the deepest Clemson has ever been at corner. When you look at guys like Avion Terrell, first round hype. Ashton Hampton, he gonna be probably a first rounder, not this year
Future
coming up,
first
but the
round.
next year.
Yeah.
And then you look at the safeties. Khalil Barnes probably gonna be a mid-round pick.
Yeah.
Ricardo Jones had a really good freshman year. He's probably gonna play a lot at safety.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't really see Clemson losing like more than 2 games, bro, all season. In my personal opinion.
Hey,
I'm just being honest. Like on paper,
don't jinx my boys now. Come on now.
On paper. Let me say on paper.
Man.
Clemson should be a good team on paper.
Yeah.
On paper, they should be a good team. And you kind of already answered my question just now. But what I was going to ask is, are you believing in the hype? Because I'm a little nervous. Because I'm like, oh, Clemson ain't been getting hyped up like this since I was since 2018, 19.
Since I was there, boy.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been getting hyped up like this. So I'm a little nervous. Like, okay, why are we getting hyped up so much?
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, what did you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, the hype makes me nervous, but I mean, secretly, I was this hype. You know, I can't even sit there and flex.
Yeah.
But I'm supposed to be this hype because I'm a fan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just surprised that everybody else, like we said, me and you talked about it off camera. Me and you, you know, we was hard on Cade, you know, in the first couple of years. Last year, he proved that he was at the very least, the second or third best quarterback in the nation last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this year returning, he should be the best. You know, and people are hyping him up to be that way. And I think the Texas game in the playoff really made people think that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he was surgical.
Cage was tremendous in that game.
Yeah.
Against probably the best defense in the country last year, or one of them.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. I mean,
Texas was ranked like top 3 or 4 pretty much consistently the whole year last year at defense.
Yeah.
So
he had a really good game, and I felt like you know he was our best player last year. Period. To be honest with you, because he was clutch. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy he's getting the hype. I just hope it don't go to his head. You know what I'm saying? I just hope it don't. You know.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be listening to it. But but he's a good kid. I think he'll be a fine. I did want to touch on though. You know, the tight end room looks good. In my opinion, I know you didn't say that before, but the tight end room looks good.
Yeah.
The running back room, I think a lot of people. Yeah. So here's my thing. So a lot of people are expecting Clemson's running back room to be fine, but I'm not one of them people.
Yeah, I think Malik said that in the comments. He said, "I'm worried about the running back position." And I'm 100% with him as well.
I mean, I'm worried about it to a degree to where. What if one of these guys don't step up? That's my issue. I think a lot of people are just automatically assuming that Gideon Davidson is going to step up or Adam Reynolds is going to step up. The running back room as a whole collectively has 4 carries at Clemson. And that's Adam Randall. All 4 of them was Adam Randall.
Yeah, because what's his name? He's not going to play most of next year. He's going to be out. The dude that tore his ACL in the ACC championship. What's his kid name? Haynes. Yeah, Jay Haynes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Haynes is out. And Haynes was looking good. I mean, he was looking better than Maffa before he got hurt. So you know, but he's gonna be out probably most of the year. You know, Gideon Davidson is a freshman. So we can say, you know, him being a high 4-star, borderline 5-star prospect bodes well, but we just don't know. We seeing guys get into the college and bust. We just don't know. The other kid behind him, was it David something? I think he might have a carry or 2 at Clemson, but you know, we still don't know.
Keith Adams or Jarvis Green?
No, that David Ezio Mune something.
Oh yeah, Azume,
yeah. I forgot Keith Adams too. Do got to carry, but I mean, your 2 running backs going into the league or into the year next year is probably going to be. I would think it's going to be Gideon and Adam Randall. I think that's what they're looking at. Which again. You know, that's something that you can be excited about. But again, we're talking about 2 guys that collectively have 4 collegiate carries. You know, we don't know.
Yeah.
So I think the running back position, that's going to be the X factor. That's going to be the make or break for Clemson this year.
Yeah.
Because if everybody's just dropping back and not having to worry about, you know, a potential run game, and Cade, it has to be, you know, what he was last year again, then, you know, we might be messing around and get exposed. So that's one thing that I'm looking out for. And then also, before we move on, also the offensive coordinator is still Garrett Riley. You know what I mean? I need to see more this year. I need to see better. All right. Last year was fine. It was definitely a step up from the year before.
Yeah,
I need to see more. All right. Because there was still times where I was like, man, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Cade made a lot happen.
yeah,
I feel like TJ Moore made a lot happen. You know what I mean? I feel like Maffa early in the year before the labor room really started to break him down. I feel like he made a lot happen. You know, but I need to see more.
yeah,
Tyler Brown is coming back. Antonio Williams is going to have a full season, hopefully. Brian Wesco should be, coming along a lot better. So I need to see more. Tristan Smith, they say, has looked really good. So I need to
yeah,
see more from Garrett Riley this year. Don't be scared.
yeah.
Don't be scared. But other than that, I'm feeling good about Clemson's, chances. I just don't want to jinx my boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I agree, man. Like I said, I'm kind of with you. I expect a big season, and we'll jump more into Clemson. When college football season, probably like next month, we'll start getting heavy into the Clemson stuff and college football stuff. But yeah, just kind of want to touch up on that. Last thing before we head out, just give me like 2 minutes. GTA trailer dropped a couple weeks ago. Actually, the day I was so they dropped that the game got pushed back the day that I was moving. So that actual day I was moving, you remember I called you and I was like, bruh, what in the
you was
world? This
sick,
is
bro.
crazy.
You was sick.
So yeah, I was pissed. So GTA dropped the trailer though, I think that following Monday or Tuesday, something like that.
Something like that,
Just give me something quick. What's your thoughts? What do you think? Do you think the game gets pushed back again? What are we thinking about, man?
Yeah, man. So number one, the trailer looked pretty good. It was definitely an upgrade over the last trailer, which came out in December of 2023. It's just crazy to think about how much progress they made in that time. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't understand how much, excuse me, how much really goes into video game development. And we're talking about Rockstar here, like kind of the big dogs in it. I mean, it's gonna be the most expensive. It's gonna be the most expensive entertainment product I think ever made. I mean, the budget is $1 billion, so. And that's confirmed now. It's not 2 billion like a lot of people saying. It's $1 billion, which is still
A lot.
absolutely insane. Yeah, it's insane. But so this is going to be the biggest entertainment release of all time for sure, and that includes movies, that includes games, books, whatever, music, all of that. So I'm really excited for it. I thought it looked really cool. I'm excited to see what the story is going to look like. Obviously, they said the trailer was actually a mix between gameplay and cutscenes. So that's really intriguing to see because it kind of all looked the same. So that lets you know it's going to be just as seamless as Red Dead Redemption 2 was. But man, I'm really excited about it, man. I can't wait for it. Unfortunately, though, y'all, I do not think it's dropping May 26th.
No, me and you have already talked about that
Yeah,
offline.
it's dropping in the fall, y'all. Just believe it's gonna get delayed again, which is fine, and it's not gonna get delayed because it's not, ready or whatever. It's just gonna delay it because they want that fall season
money.
hype. You know what I'm saying? They want that fall season. They want that Christmas money.
They want that Christmas. Yep.
Yeah. So that's all that is. But expected to drop September, October 2026. So yeah, we got a little bit over a year, like a year and a half to go, but it'll be there before you know it, and we'll all be enjoying GTA 6, man. So
let me ask you a question. I agree with everything you said because I want to wrap it up here shortly. Quick, 30 seconds. Because they've pushed it back so much, do you think we get online day one?
Man, I don't know, bro. I really don't know. So from the leaks, from everything that I've heard, yeah, to be honest, but again, they can do whatever they want, bro. So I really, I don't know.
I'm trying to think. Rockstar knows that too. They can do whatever they want. They know people are gonna be lining up to get a game regardless.
If I remember correctly, bro, Red Dead Redemption 2 online did drop day one. So or at least or maybe even a week later or something like that. But it wasn't
long. It wasn't a long way.
Wasn't long. Yeah, it wasn't long. So I think you can feel good about that. I think those are good. I think there's a good chance that it drops around the same time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. Also,
Hold on,
EA
hold on.
college football.
Yeah, there
I
you
could
go.
drop a
Yeah,
trailer too.
yeah.
Because
I was like, I'm about to
yeah,
ask you
I
about
ain't
that.
letting them off the hook either.
Yeah,
Nah, EA
yeah,
college football 26. Y'all can most definitely drop a trailer because we got a trailer last year, May 17th. It's May the 20th.
mm,
And I thought today was gonna be the day we was gonna get it, actually.
yeah.
And we
Tuesday.
haven't. So y'all said May, we getting the full reveal. It's the last week of May coming up.
Oh, did they
Something
say
to
that?
give. Yeah, they said May. We're supposed to get a full reveal.
Oh, I didn't hear. I didn't see that. Oh,
Yeah,
dang.
so it's May and it's the end of May at this point. So I would think Thursday is another day to kind of look for. They like to drop on like Tuesdays or Thursdays. I, I feel like we should get something this week and then get the full reveal next week and then go from there. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I think GTA 6 drops in the fall of 2026. So I think we got a little whiles to wait, to be honest with y'all. I'm with Cam. They're gonna want to get that Christmas money because it's you gotta think about it. They're gonna want to get this game for like kids and stuff. The parents ain't going out to get this game, even though most of the parents are our age, so they might still go get it.
Yeah, yeah,
But they ain't gonna go. It's more likely for a parent to go out in October and November to be preparing for Christmas to get their kids the game than to do it in the middle of May or in
then a
April
random
or
May,
whatever.
a random
Like,
May, because
yeah, nobody's doing that.
don't
I
nobody
think
buy their
fall. I'm
kids.
with you 100%. It's gonna be fall
Yeah,
of 2026.
yeah,
100%. So yeah, that's where it is. Listen, y'all, I know tonight was a little bit of a long one. We had to catch up with y'all. I promise y'all, we back permanently now. I just had to get some of my stuff together after moving to Raleigh. I'm all set in now. We all good. We all set. So we'll be back on the show next week. We'll be back on more permanently now. Again, 80 of y'all tuned in tonight. Appreciate y'all love and support. Thank y'all. Continue to follow the page. Cam, did you want to say anything else before we ended up tonight? I know we went a long time, so I'm trying to just wrap it up so we won't keep everybody here for 15 hours.
yeah. Nah, I mean, I'm good, man. Thank y'all for everything. You know, I'm glad we back. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's I missed it. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
really have missed it. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you back, somewhere where where you want to be. So I'm happy for you, bro.
I appreciate it, bro.
And I'm glad everything is going well for you. And I hope the same for everybody out there too that's watching and tuning in, man.
Yeah.
I hope y'all have a really good summer, and y'all stay tuned in with us, share it with your friends, share it with your family.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be back. And like I said, man, it was just me this last couple of weeks with moving and a lot going on. But we officially back locked in now. Catch us every Tuesday night, 6:30. And if anything changes, obviously we'll let y'all know as we always do. Peace, love, and happiness, man. We'll holler at y'all boys next week. Y'all have a good one, man.